Hey everybody, this is Michael with the LangShack here. Just wanted to introduce you guys to a new language. It's called Bunganditj or Buwandik. And the area they inhabited, or what you might call their native land, um, centers around this place called Mount Gambier, which they call Berin in their language. And it's mostly because it has a lot of features. Like it has these two lakes here, crater lakes. There's also a mountain somewhere around, um, and they've actually got many words that are many words just around Bering that have to do with the topography of the region. So it must have been a very sacred place to these people. Their territory went as far as Casterton. It may have gone even further. I know that there was a neighboring language called Warrnambool, which I guess was a city named after that today. That that they neighbored. But yeah, this is the area that they are mostly in. They numbered about 900 people in the 1880s. The main source I read said that they were completely, the tribes had been completely, like the social structure of it had been completely undone by the mid 19th century, when they were forced to either be ranchers or they died from disease or just squatters taking the land over. So it's a sad story, which is probably sadly very typical of most of South Australia, where most of the settlers were at. But the language is thankfully coming to it's becoming revived. There are revitalization efforts. The language has been compiled in a large book about 170 pages, by Barry Blake, at Australian National University, and he compiled 12 different historical sources of the language. About 2,000 words, several hundred sentences that have been written down into a book. So this book has a glossary. It has many sentences that were taken down. He tries to break down the grammar. So it's a very complete book. So it was very well documented for a language of that type, a language that is considered extinct. But this book is probably the best one that there is. It actually has some cool phrases, like some cool common phrases that you might include in a book, such as "Enha Mratun," where's your country? And Ngan Nuringun, what is your name? They also have "Enha Ngurangun," where is your camp? And "Hawerin Wata," when will you return? They would ask questions with the particle miu. Yuli miu mamon, is your father alive? Kuwarun miu, do you have any dollars? Another thing I found that was very interesting, is that Truwal Truwal miu Kumama miu. So Kumama was translated as white man, and according to this same book, it was translated as somebody with green or blue eyes. Whereas Truwal is the general word for a man. So it's just interesting that they refer to themselves as, man, but later, after contact with the Europeans, they named they gave them a different name. I guess it's similar to how the Hawaiians had a word for Kanaka was person, and Haole was translated as a white person, like it translates as no blood, as a person having no blood. And another common phrase here, Bat miyu kakaun, how old is your sister? So you could use that for how old are you? Somewhere I'm sure there's a way to construct that phrase. And another thing saw that was interesting was how they used the word for asking a question in the response. So wanung miyu para, are there more? and the response miyu para wandu. So miyu is actually used in the response for the question. So just saying para wandu, there is one. They're using miyu in that. So I guess it's like indicating that it's an answer to a question. I'm not really sure. But yeah, and they've got notes on the topography of the area in various areas. They've got all the prepositions and pronouns and adjectives. Like, this book has a lot of different stuff, and they even have a word comparison list as well. I found this source. This is about the revitalization efforts of the language, called the reawakening of Craitbul, the revival of the Buwandik language of Mount Gambier, Bering, as I will call it. Yeah, it even says that here. Mount Gambier or Bering is a picturesque tourist destination. But yeah, this published by a university in Adelaide, Australia, talks about this stuff and how even some stuff has been repurposed. And they it's interesting how they, like, for example, they have translated many things, like the word for dentist, tanga pangal, wellness center, prawa martung. Yeah, they have created a lot of words. They even have a word for air, for an airplane. Where was that? Where did I see that? Yeah, a word, martungwari, good trip, mankut, football. Ngairi, a plane, which is based on the word for eagle. This is kind of like how the Navajos had a word for in World War II for different aircrafts, and the code talkers. And they have word for player, prunya, prunich, tuna dig, tunich, gardener. So they have already started repurposing words for their language, as you can see. So they are definitely making efforts to revive it. They have a health center that's named after words in their language. The word for Dr. House. Even a word for a greengrocer. Bungang. Bungangil. Greengrocer. But yeah, this language is very cool. It's very typical of a Pama-Nyungan language, which is the main language group of Aborigine Australia. About 90% of the Australian landscape is covered by Pama-Nyungan languages. But yeah, this is an interesting language, bordering South in Australia and Victoria. But yeah, so if you are more interested in more details, I will be more than happy to go through this further in detail. Or if you want a course, I can probably create one somehow. Just let me know. And if you have any questions or you'd like to see more, definitely let me know. I'm thankful for everybody who is watching this, and I'm thankful that I'm able to spread the information around about these lesser known languages to people. And let me know if you have any suggestions in the comments below, and I will post. I will write the sources down that I found, some sort of